The Seminole Junk Man. Okay.
A sheriff's investigator will likely drive by here to confirm that Davis has violated the court order.
Nearly 25 years ago, I began covering complaints about this Central Florida home.
It's a junkyard.
Semino County officials.
Is that a butt?
Said the owner, Alan Davis, had been piling junk in his yard in violation of local ordinances.
But every time they keep screwing with me, I keep moving more. And there is nothing they're going to do about it.
Davis called it a political protest.
It's basically, I'm tired of the government steamrolling over people, and they can just kiss.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
Back then, Davis had just a small amount of junk on his property.
You think there's a lot here now? Why don't you come back by tomorrow? Let's see what I really think of the county.
At that point, Davis had not yet built this giant statue of a human rear end, which he would later load
Political prisoner.
onto his truck and drive down the interstate while headed to court hearings.
The name of the sculpture is Kiss My and you can just do it.
Davis had not yet been arrested, put on trial, and sent to prison for criminal littering.
When you would get letters that
the
foliage was too high, the weeds are too high in the front yard, that he would actually get fertilizer and fertilize the weeds to make them even higher.
More recently, Davis built this two-story structure in his yard. It's some kind of storage platform. You cannot even see his house back there anymore. For 25 years, Semino County has been trying to get Alan Davis to clean up his yard on this quiet residential street. And for 25 years,
but why?
Alan Davis has been thumbing his nose at the county and the people who live in this middle-class neighborhood.
He just adds and adds and adds every day.
David Radosevich lives 2 doors down.
I was very happy to hear that they're going to finally do something.
For decades, he's begged the county to take action. Did you think when I first met you...
Bro, just leave him alone? Let's listen to more.
Nearly 25 years ago that we would be standing here talking today.
No. Well, I thought for sure by now they'd be cleaned up, to be honest with you.
Live from WKMG, the Problem Solvers. This is Local 6 News at 5.
It's not just the
Thanks for the raid, Caroline.
airplane fuselage outside Alan Davis's home that angers his neighbors, nor is it the sports car body. It's the airplane, the sports car, the water heater, the metal drums, the twisted seal, the plastic tarps.
He's got a pool back there that's really, really bad.
Alan Davis's legal troubles began in April 2000 when a Semino County code inspector found uncultivated vegetation in excess of 24 inches and objectionable, unsightly, or unsanitary matter that threatened the health, safety, lives, and welfare of the citizens. County officials repeatedly told Davis to clean up the yard. His response?
Fat chance!
Okay. All right. I'm going to be honest. Usually I know where I'm going to land on a story. I really don't know where I'm going to land on this one. Because I agree with him to an extent, but I'm also picking up that he might be a total asshole.
Instead, Davis began hauling out more junk. He obtained some of this material from his former job rebuilding vintage World War II airplanes.
Now when you do it in a big scale, it gets results.
Tonight, you'll visit places in this country where neighbor has turned against neighbor.
In 2002, the CBS News program 48 Hours featured the dispute as Davis began creating his most infamous display, a 6-foot-tall fiberglass sculpture of a rear end.
Oh my God. How do you spell organized crime? Semino County government.
6-foot-tall fiberglass sculpture of a rear end. At least one neighbor complained to the county that the statue was obscene, prompting a sheriff's deputy to pay a visit.
He told me that he was going to remove my sculpture, and I quite flatly told him that he would have to talk to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Davis also made mini sculptures that are mounted on
www.kissmyass.us
from his front yard. He then sold these online. Davis figured if people bought them, it's not junk, it's art, protected by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Wow. Davis's antics prompted Playboy magazine to publish this cartoon depicting him annoying his neighbors. But it wasn't the statue that concerned county officials. It was the overgrown weeds and other unsightly junk. Seminole County's Code Enforcement Board eventually issued Davis a $13,000 fine, with an additional fine of $250 per day until the violations were corrected. But Davis refused to pay.
They will not get a single dime.
As you probably guessed by now, Davis does not live within a homeowners association. If he did, the HOA could have potentially foreclosed on Davis's home. But outside of HOAs like we are here, Florida's Homestead exemption generally prevents debt collectors from seizing your primary residence. But other personal property like cars, furniture, and jewelry can still be seized and then sold at auction to pay off debts. Seminole County officials wanted to seize the junk in Davis's yard, in theory to pay off all his fines, but more importantly, to get this property cleaned up. So the county filed this lawsuit seeking to foreclose on Davis's personal property.
We would ask at this time to have a summary judgment on the foreclosure issue.
Mr. Davis. Your Honor, I object.
Davis represented himself in court. He's not an attorney, as the judge often reminded him.
I got to go to the law library. I got to call a friend of mine and find out how to serve a subpoena correctly.
Whenever Davis went to court, he loaded his butt statue into the back of his pickup and drove it down I-4. As folks looked on in astonishment, Davis intentionally positioned the sculpture outside the courthouse in hopes that the judge would see it.
I'm just going to keep fighting, and they can all just come kiss my.
But Circuit Court Judge Nancy Alley did not buy the free speech argument and issued this court order allowing the Seminole County Sheriff to seize $13,000 of Davis's personal property. Soon, forklifts, hazmat trucks, and moving vans rolled into this neighborhood as workers began hauling away the junk. Neighbors watched in amazement.
It's good that they're finally getting around to it, but it sure took a long time.
This cleanup cost Seminole County taxpayers more than $9,000. But for the first time in years, the yard was clean. Davis vowed revenge.
Wait till tomorrow. You think it's bad now? I'm going to move more in.
For years, all of this junk sat in the front yard of Seminole County's worst neighbor. Today, it all gets auctioned off.
2 months after the cleanup, Davis's belongings were put on the auction block.
Do I hear a bid?
Yes.
What is your bid, sir?
$50.
$50.
The winning bidder was John Weiser.
This is a whole nightmare.
He paid $95 for all of Davis's stuff.
Including the ass blaster.
Little did Seminole County officials know then, Weiser and Davis were friends.
No!
Months after the county hauled away these vehicle parts and scrap metal, we found the same items right back in Davis's front yard.
You look at the humor of the whole thing. You've got one little guy, one little smart that is just running them around in circles.
Seminole County Sheriff did not find it humorous.
I'm not concerned at all about what people's perception is. I have an obligation, responsibility to the people who live in the community to do everything we can to ensure that everyone complies with the law.
Soon, Davis was adding even more junk to his property, including toilets filled with cactus plants.
But to what end?
Plants. He made a new butt sculpture, this one tattooed with the name of the judge who ordered him to clean up his yard.
Okay. That is fire. That is absolutely fire. I was out on this guy, and now I am in. This is fire.
Tattooed with the name of the judge who ordered him to clean up his yard. Then Davis took his political protest to new heights.
Yeah, I'm going to use this in an America Me Up for sure. Hang on to this, Hoss. This is fantastic.
On the roof of his house, where he assembled these steel drums in the shape of a middle finger.
The title of the sculpture is Salute to Seminole County, You're Number One.
You're a first class, you know what?
The frustration of his neighbors was bubbling over. Some secretly hoped that Davis would get struck by a bolt of lightning.
I'm getting off this road. That was close.
But not even Mother Nature could stop him. By then it was clear to everyone that civil penalties were not going to deter Davis. So county officials turned up the heat. Deputies arrested Davis And prosecutors charged him with violating the Florida litter law. That law says any person who dumps litter in an amount exceeding 500 pounds is guilty of a third-degree felony.
Do you remember when I got arrested on your birthday?
Davis feared being separated from his young daughter and wife, but he says the fight was worth it.
Women getting the vote. What did they do? Civil rights. I mean, every political protest in this country has always gone above and beyond.
Yeah, she is my best supporter. And my daughter is always saying, I wish I had a normal daddy.
You will hear from the neighbors about rats, odors.
In 2003, a jury began hearing evidence in the criminal case.
The value of my home, nobody wants to buy it because nobody wants to live near it.
Code enforcement officers showed jurors photographs of the numerous violations, and a health department representative testified about the hazards the property posed to neighbors.
The mosquitoes may be able to breed in that environment.
If there is a theme to this trial, it should be one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Davis's public defender argued that his client was exercising his constitutional rights.
What rights are you trying to protect, sir?
My right to privacy and my right to freedom of speech.
It did not take jurors long to reach a verdict.
We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of illegal dumping of litter.
A judge sentenced Davis to 1 year and 1 day in state prison, followed by 3 years of probation.
They mobbed me. They knew I was coming. They wanted my autograph.
I caught up with Davis while he was incarcerated.
I get charged with felony littering.
Davis would occasionally send me letters from prison. This one contained a legal document challenging his criminal
Holy shit.
conviction. It was written on toilet paper.
Holy shit.
From the prison bathroom. Yes, this is toilet paper. Davis's
handwriting is phenomenal.
Yard may be messy, but his handwriting is exquisite.
That's what I said.
It's all a matter of what somebody thinks somebody else should do. And in this country, we don't have the right to tell our neighbors how to live.
Davis predicted he'd be locked up again someday.
Will you be back in prison?
Probably. Yeah, I probably will.
He was right. Just months after being released, a judge found Davis violated his probation and sent him back to prison for another year.
Oh, I think I'm going to probably be visiting Bubba tonight.
When Davis got out,
holy shit.
Again, he violated his probation again.
Mr. Davis, so all you had to do was follow the rules.
And went back to prison again.
I might be in love with this guy. 2 years in jail over a petty grievance.
But if you think a total of more than 4 years behind bars
4 years
would change Davis's behavior, it didn't.
I've only got out of prison yesterday, and I'm going to start fertilizing today. Semino County can kiss my...
The day after Davis completed his full sentence, he began growing his weeds again.
Jack and the Beanstalk. How about Alan and the Beanstalk?
He's back!
Neighbors like Jan Schmidt feared it would start all over again.
It's like you cannot be rational with an irrational person, and I think he's irrational.
Using Google Maps Street View, we can see what happened next. This is what Davis's yard looked like shortly after he got out of prison. And this is what it looked like a few years later. By 2016, Semino County had placed over $1.9 million in liens on Davis's property. Once again, the county obtained a court order to seize the junk, this time hauling away more than 70,000 pounds of trash and debris. And once again, Davis was arrested for felony littering.
Dude. This is him. This is the man that wouldn't break, would not sell out, would not change. One of God's own prototypes. What a fucking badass.
He pleaded no contest to those new criminal charges and ultimately spent another year in jail.
Oh my God, 5 years! 5 years!
When you look in this direction,
yeah,
it's a pretty neighborhood.
Yeah, look, it's beautiful.
And when you look in the other direction,
junk. It's a junkyard. It's crazy.
When Davis got out again in 2017, he began this new construction without obtaining the proper building permits. Semino County officials have been issuing Davis hundreds of dollars in code violation fines every single day for the past quarter century. Davis doesn't care.
This guy fucking rules.
I've been a renegade all my life. I don't like being told what to do.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. Hoss, get me in touch with this man. I've been looking to make a piece of YouTube content at the absolute peak capacity of my ability. This is the guy. I will go to Florida to talk to this man.
At age 69, Davis says his political protest is still underway. By his own admission, his yard is more cluttered than it's ever been.
First off, people think I'm crazy. I didn't get into Mensa by being an idiot.
Davis.
He was in Mensa? There's no way that's real. He's a genius?
Oh yeah, wow, that's very cool.
He's a genius?
Davis claims to be a genius with an IQ of 147. I could not immediately confirm that, but I can confirm he started building yet another butt statue, which he plans to drive around town again while delivering lawsuits to government officials. The county's issued you millions of dollars in fines for all this. It hasn't deterred you.
Nope.
They've seized this junk. It's all come back. That hasn't deterred you. You have had 2 criminal convictions. That hasn't deterred you.
Nope.
What will deter you?
Oh, nothing. No, that's not going to happen. There is nothing in their ability that will deter me.
So this is all against the government?
Oh, yeah, it's bait.
What about your neighbors?
What about my neighbors? My neighbors have their own property. Freedom is freedom. If the government can tell you what to do with your property, you don't have freedom. Freedom.
Holy shit.
Freedom has a look. This is what it looks like. This is freedom.
This is freedom.
This is freedom. For an intelligent person knows this is freedom. If you don't,
this guy sucks? Nah. This guy rules. This guy fucking rules.
Like it, you're free to go somewhere else.
If Davis were to suddenly clean up his property today, and we know that won't happen, he would still owe the county a whopping $5.5 million in code violation fines. So how will the county collect all that money? Under the Florida Homestead exemption we told you about earlier, it appears county officials would simply have to wait for Davis to either sell his home or transfer it to someone else.
The county don't have our back. They just gave up on us.
A county spokesperson tells me, quote, Semino County understands the community's frustrations with this long-standing issue. Over the past 25 years, the county has pursued every legal action available under state statutes. Unfortunately, without changes to state law, our ability to enforce further action is limited. Did he win?
Yeah, apparently. Congratulations, Davis, you won.
What does Davis have to say about his 25-year history of violating county codes and annoying his neighbors?
You can all.
How do I get rid of this fucking shit?
Kiss my.
Wow. Wow, dude. That is fucking crazy. Modern day Braveheart? Dude, you know what? There's a part of me that agrees with, like, this is crazy. Like, this guy's an asshole. And he is an asshole. Honestly, truly, he's an asshole. But there's another part of me that's been bullied by, like, cops, government officials, judges. And that part of me is like, what would I do to just show them that they don't own me? How far would I fucking take this? How fucking far would I take this fucking axe to grind? 5 years in jail, $5 million of liens, and he's still just saying, fuck you, you're not getting shit.